Just start. That's all I'm gonna say. I look a lot less like an egghead today because my hair is not slicked back today. Start now. I don't know like who needs to hear this, but we need to stop making excuses for things that we could certainly start now. This isn't about to be some sort of YouTube success story or anything. If you actually check the number of subscribers I actually do have, I have a little over 530 subscribers at the moment, which is certainly something I'm super grateful for. I'm grateful for every single one of you who have subscribed. You should subscribe too. But, this is really just something that I wanted to post just as encouragement to anyone out there who really does need to hear this. Start doing, start creating, just start. So honestly, a lot of it is genuinely a mental battle. I'm just going to be so honest with you, mainly about what we think people are going to think and how we look to others and what we look like when we're compared to the success of others, and also just not being enough, not doing enough, not having enough. When you focus on others' growth and opportunities, sometimes you really do start to miss out on the opportunities that are coming to you. A lot of just starting can be about failing forward. That's really what it is. You're just failing forward, because that's really what's important here. Like, even if you fail forward. If it works, that's great. But if you fail forward. Primarily talking mainly about the first point, which is what people think of me, what people think of you when you just start. And primarily here, I'm talking about content creation. It's something I've been struggling with a lot, just trying to get past those excuses of what are people going to think. And for me personally, it's been a lot of a confidence and a self-esteem kind of an issue, where I've been honestly trying to get past that and trying to push past those excuses I've made. For years, I've honestly wanted to do vlogging so much. Like halfway through high school, I was like, oh, I'm gonna be a vlogger. I'm gonna get out there. I'm gonna do so much stuff. And I just never did anything. And because I was afraid of what others would be thinking of me and what they might say about me vlogging, I never truly got around to filming in public and in front of friends and family, and in general just actually editing these little clips and snippets of my life and releasing that to the internet and to the world. And that's hundreds, and I mean hundreds, of little video clips and snippets of my life that may never make it to YouTube, and they could have been the very thing that would have grown my channel. It took years for me, up until this summer, for me to let my friends know that I had a YouTube channel and to tell them about my videos and show them my videos and whatnot. And I'm so grateful that they're very supportive of it. But even this past freshman year of college, I so seriously wanted to vlog and vlog frequently. I was still struggling with the mentality of being seen by other people and people seeing me in a negative light when I was trying to do content creation and whatnot. There was actually a moment, however, this past year that really changed my perspective of people possibly seeing me in a very negative light when it came to vlogging and content creation. This past winter, while I was on campus, I was on the bus and I saw this girl who, she was standing on the sidewalk, on the side of the sidewalk, not in the middle of the sidewalk, not, doing any harm to anyone. And she had her phone out. She just had her phone out and she's just doing a little bit of like a pan of the phone across, and you could just tell by the stance of her being on the sidewalk and whatnot that she was a content creator. She was either vlogging or she was making content, or just the way she was just panning and just doing it so peacefully, just quietly and whatnot on the side of the sidewalk while everyone was just walking by her and whatnot. Some people did turn around and look at her, but no one was like harassing her over it or something. She was just peacefully vlogging, stopped, checked the video, and went off with her day. And I saw this while I was on the bus. Rather than thinking the most negative thing, which is what we would all be, we think that when people see us that they're going to see the negative side of us. We think that others are going to have a very negative perspective of how we look to them. We're going to think that people think that we're crazy, or that they think that we're being weird for vlogging or doing content creation or doing whatever, just starting. However, in that moment, me being someone seeing somebody else vlogging actually inspired me in the moment. And I was actually thinking very positive things about her. I was like, oh wow, that's so cool. She looks so confident, honestly, just vlogging like this in public. Not that vlogging's wrong in public. And as long as you do so without disrupting others and harassing others, like, it's fine. But just seeing her doing all of this on the sidewalk in public with so many students just walking around her and everything. And she wasn't like looking around, being nervous about it. She just did it confidently, just like that, and continued on with the rest of her day. It really was inspiring to me personally. It really made me realize that most people, honestly, they're either not going to notice, they're not going to mind or care too much about it, or they're just going to be very positive. And that's honestly how most people think when they see other people vlogging, at least from what I had experienced in that moment. And that really helped to work on changing my mindset. And so I'm so excited to be vlogging later in the fall and everything, and to get into challenging those original excuses I would make about not wanting to vlog. And I'm so excited to film more school content and everything. Just talking about not being enough and not being qualified enough. And this is something that really does go beyond vlogging and YouTube and content creation in general, but it can be extended on to academics, your personal life, your professional life. And this past freshman year, I wanted to do a summer internship. I wanted to do a summer internship for this summer right now. Going into applying to internships, I had felt a little bit discouraged and very worried about it, because I thought that I was certainly underqualified, and I had certainly thought, oh my gosh, no one is going to care about a freshman applying to an internship, especially if it's at a big company. And so I was applying to so many internships, and for one particular company, which is kind of like my dream internship goal, I had managed to score a first round interview. And that was huge for me at the time, because I had thought, no one cares about a freshman. No one cares about a freshman going for this. I'm definitely not qualified enough for it, because most of them don't look at freshmen when they apply to internships. Some of them, they don't really care very much. And simply just getting past that excuse of not being enough and forcing myself, or not forcing, but pushing myself to go out of my comfort zone and still apply to these places, even though I knew that some of them will not care about freshmen, and still scoring a first round interview meant so much to me. Now, spoiler alert, I didn't get the interview, but what was really important through this was more so the process. It wasn't necessarily the result. Yes, it was devastating to get rejected for my dream internship, but even though I was rejected, I learned so much throughout the entire process of applying and fine-tuning my resume and cover letters, and also just preparing and participating in an interview and with a big company of all things. Even though I was rejected, I was able to fail forward and to really learn and grow from this experience. Sometimes just starting isn't necessarily about how far I can go, but it's more so about how far I can grow as a person. For me, I've been working so much, especially over this past summer, on understanding and learning and really internalizing the fact that even if my channel doesn't necessarily grow as much or as fast as I want it to in the moment, it's really about knowing that there's so much to still learn from the process, and there's so much that I can still learn about consistency and dedication and improving my video editing skills, and also just improving my confidence both on camera and off camera as well. Really, you gotta search for what you can learn from the entire process of just starting, and rather than just focusing on what you can get from that desired result. Because a lot of times we forget to appreciate the journey and to learn from the process that we're going through, learning from everything that we're doing along the way. And we rather get really frustrated and really disappointed and really discouraged because we hyper focus on getting a very specific desired result. Not that it's wrong to desire stuff, but a lot of times we forget in the process that there's so much to learn along the way. Sometimes we can't always see exactly what we had expected. So it's always good to also know that I'm learning a lot along the way, and that too is another form of growth in and of itself. Some of you might not just start because of people and their opinions, or the conditions of your environment, or your level of qualification, being too young, being too old, being too early, being too late, being literally whatever, saying that you don't have enough, saying that you aren't enough, or you aren't this, you aren't that. Some of you might even be afraid to start and to just start simply because of a fear of success, which is a very real thing. What happens to me if I do really well, if this takes off, if this does well and I start to really succeed at this and other people start to see me succeeding. And honestly, though, the only thing I can say about that is you never really know how good it can get unless you try. So just start anyway.